Hallå, hallå. Nu kommer ett avsnitt som för det första är på engelska. Bara det var lite roligt. Men jag sitter ner med Kieren. Han är från södra England, uppvuxen där, flyttat till Sverige för att spela fotboll. Han lever i Sverige idag, har bott i Kiruna några år, men nu bor han i Umeå. Det vi går igenom är ju dels om hans liv och varför han ville komma till Sverige just att spela fotboll. Men någonting som är med Kieren, han har haft en sjukt tuff uppväxt. Levt med en mamma som valde alkoholen framför familjen, kan man säga. Väldigt, väldigt berörande historia om hans liv. Så jag vill inte avslöja för mycket. Jag hoppas ni gillar det ni hör. Här kommer den, varsågoda.
Shining brighter than the sun, I won't surrender. Watch me flying higher. I'm alive, I'm alive. Whoa.
1, 2, 3 and boom. Hello, mate.
Hi, how you doing?
How's the wine tasting?
The wine's tasting very good. I appreciate that. Yeah,
Oh, I appreciate that you are here, mate.
mate. I'm very privileged to be here.
Introduce yourself,
So
man.
I'm Kieren Conibear-Trathen, an English man living in Sweden. Been in Sweden now it'll be 8 years in January. And yeah, now I've been in Kiruna for 3 years, and I'm leaving on Saturday.
We're gonna have so much fun right now because when we started talking about this, I met you at Landströms, and I don't know where we met.
We'll say a pub in Kiruna. And
Yeah,
we can say that.
And then we start talking about our history, and with my history, and you start to talk about your background.
Yeah.
I fell directly because you are so nice and kind. You are
Thank
so
you, mate.
warm
Thank you, mate.
person, and when you talked about your background, I was like, yeah, we have to do this,
Yeah.
man. We have to do this. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that you're here. It's gonna be so much fun. But let's start with, what have you done here in Kiruna? As you said, you are moving on Saturday.
On Saturday, yeah.
So take us
So
the Kiruna trip.
So with Kiruna, I came here for football originally.
Yeah.
That was it. But I had the clubs I played in before, I had a few injury problems. And as a footballer, when you're injured and not working, the days can be long, they can be lonely. So when I came here, I wanted to work as well. So if I was injured, I could work. So I've worked at Kiruna Sami School for 3 years now, kind of as like an Aleve assistant, you can say.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then played 3 years for Kiruna FF and was lucky enough to be the captain of Kiruna FF this year. So yeah, I'm gonna miss Kiruna. Kiruna's a big part of my life now. So but yeah, moving to Umeå on Saturday. Yeah, bought a house there, and Umeå is a place I know very well. Lived there my first 3 years in Sweden, I like to call it my Swedish home as such. So know a lot of people there. So the move's not going to be too bad. But yeah, I can guarantee everyone I'll be back every year for festival, and that's guaranteed. That is.
That's the care we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, how many years have you been in Sweden right now?
So in January it'll be 8 years.
8
8 years in January, yeah. And what I thought would be 6 months and then back to England is
really
8 years later. I'm still here. So,
but how did you get that idea? I want to move to Sweden and play football.
So I was very lucky with this as well. I was
Okay.
playing semi-professional in England,
Okay.
but not really enjoying it because I was still living in the same hometown, going out 3 times a week. I wasn't really in shape.
Going out?
As in drinking, like nightclubs 3 times a week.
3 times a week.
3
and
times
did you have games every week?
We had training on Tuesday and Thursday and a game on Saturday. So my week used to be go out on Monday, not turn up to training on Tuesday, go to training on Thursday just so I'd definitely play on the Saturday, but then go out on Thursday after training, and then Saturday after the game go out, as we like to say in England, win, lose or draw, or go out on a beer, mate. So yeah, I kind of fell out of love for football a little bit. I was very close to just stop playing, and if I did, I don't know where I'd be now, because football's always been a sanctuary, a safe haven for me, kind of thing. So going back to Sweden.
Yeah.
So my best friend, he came out to Sweden for about 11 weeks, the end of 2011, and the team that he was playing for wanted to sign him for the next season. This was in a team in Umeå, and he asked me, like, would you like to come out to Sweden? I thought, Yeah, like I was very homely. I didn't like to leave my hometown. Like I live in Cornwall, which is the most southern part of England, and I wouldn't even like go in London, which was 4 hours away, because my hometown's very small. It's kind of like Kieren there. You're just in that bubble kind of thing. So yeah, and he asked me, and I thought, all right, okay. And I just started a university course as well at the time, but I was just doing that to pass the time. I wasn't so interested in that either. So yeah, I came over for what I thought was be a 2-week trial. I got signed on the first day, so I must have done something good. And then I thought, okay, I'll be here till the summer. And then things just kept rolling. We got promoted 2 years. We went through the leagues 2 years in a row. So I started in Division 4 and then ended up in Division 2. Nice. Yes, and then after then I ended up in Gällivare for a season, Boden for a season, and then now 3 years in Kiruna.
Moved around a lot.
A little bit, but only the north of Sweden. I haven't experienced the south so much. So
how you got drafted? You said that you just had a friend here.
Yeah.
And then he like drafted you to come here. But how does it work? Can you just stay here? Do you get like a visa or?
No, what it was. So my friend, the team wanted more English players with a mentality. We have the mentality in England. You win at all costs. Yeah. Like you do anything to win. So I rang up my manager in England and I terminated my contract. So and he came over and then I'd say train for a day and they signed me after the day. And what they say with a visa, because England, obviously we have the whole Brexit thing now. Yeah. But being in the EU, it wasn't a problem. It wasn't a problem, no. So
yeah, so you just can't come here and play football all these years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, but how was it to grow up in England?
See, where I grew up, it was nice when I was younger because it's a very small town and you know everyone and everything like that. But
like Kiruna.
Yeah, like I said, like Kiruna. Yeah, so it was nice, and where I'm from, we have a lot of beaches. It's a big tourist place for people in the north of England to come down because we have all this scenic stuff and everything, like nice walks for people to go on beaches. Yeah. So yeah, it was nice. But the problem with where I'm from, which is Sonorstor, by the way, is if you want to make something in sport, you have to move away because we have no professional football teams in that region. Yeah. So I have a lot of friends who are very good footballers as well, but just are still there doing a job they don't really want to do. Yeah. But they've left it too late to move. So like I made a great decision in moving away because I don't know what I would be doing now or how I'd be as a person. Yeah. So moving to Sweden was the best decision I think I ever made.
But how is it, because England is a really great football country.
Yes.
So I'm thinking about how is the possibilities to make it over there? Is it like hard? If you want to like go to a professional club, I think the concurrence, the what do you say, like the matchup to everyone is so hard. Yeah. So do you have, when you are from a small town, do you have to be like the best to go into these professional clubs?
Yeah, or? I think the problem we had as well, because we are so far south in England, that there wasn't, professional clubs didn't come down very often to see us play. Yeah. And what was crazy, when we play like in the region teams, so we say like Landslag and everything, we would beat all these teams that have all the players from professional academies. Yeah. But still no one got picked up, and we're kind of forgotten about down in the south of England, I would say.
Yeah, that's weird, because if you have great players like anywhere in the country, it's you have to just somebody has to know your name. So it isn't like that. No. When you live in the south.
Yeah, I think the problem we have is we're as good as players in professional academies, but not better. So if they've already got someone on that level already, they don't feel the need to come and take another player who's on the same level, even though they could be better eventually. Yeah. They never come down and really took the risk.
Yeah, I understand. So it's like the same here, I think, in Sweden if you play hockey or maybe in football also. But have you enjoyed it here? Is Sweden the place you want to be in?
Absolutely. I've said this for a number of years now that I'm going to be in Sweden for the rest of my life.
You are?
Yeah, there's so many things in Sweden that it's just a nice place to live. Everyone so welcoming, and just the country's so clean. That's a strange thing to say,
Clean?
but everywhere's so clean compared to England. I feel like, yeah. And
How can you talk more about what do you mean with clean?
clean, like it can be as simple as like walking down the street, like where in England.
You
they'll
mean
be-
like trash on the?
Yeah, but like a lot of the buildings in England where I'm from as well, they're all old and they don't like refurbish them to make them look better. Everything's just so so old, and like it's a strange thing to say clean, I know, but it is. It's just
but we
everything.
understand.
Yeah.
And I also see on your body language when you talk about your old town, you get that like
It's a little bit, yeah, because it's got a lot worse since I've left as well. Crime levels have gone up, drug abuse has gone up, so it's.
What's the population there?
I don't know exactly, but I'd say it has. What's the population of Kieren, would you say?
I think in the city it's like 13,000.
Yeah, okay.
And in the commune,
Yeah.
I think it's like 20 something.
Yeah, I think if we say it on like the commune where I'm from, I'd say it's about 25, 27,000.
Yes, it may be the same.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's like that infected feeling.
Yeah.
Everyone knows everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Your business is never your business.
Well, but when you played here,
Yes.
or like in another city here in Sweden,
Yeah.
when you play at your level in the football,
Yeah.
do you make money from the football, or do you have to work on the side?
So when I first come, because it was so new to me, where they paid for my accommodation, my food, and I got a little bit of a salary every month. But I was 20 years old when I first moved over, so having to not pay for anything apart from say going out or. To me, if you want to go to the cinema, that was all the stuff I had to pay for. So at the time, that money was enough. As obviously you get older, you have to pay for more like bills for stuff like that. So, I've always been lucky that clubs have offered me good contracts.
Yeah.
And they've took care of me. A lot of clubs have took care of me. Like you say, it's always accommodation has always been part of it.
Yeah.
Food has always been there, and like when it comes to like gym memberships is all paid for, and football boots are all paid for. So I won't say I haven't made what people say a fortune in money wise, but I've always been taken care of. I've never had to worry about anything.
And I can only imagine the experience you get from moving from England to Sweden, and from that small town to Umeå, Boden.
Yeah, it was tough at first with the snow.
It was?
The snow, because we came in, we flew over in January 2012, and where I'm from in England, I reckon we had snow about 3 times in 20 years. And when I say snow, it's like
on the ground.
On the ground, but it's always wet, so it goes away very quick as well.
Really?
So coming here and everything was just white. It was just such a new world to me. You can't do so much, can you? When it's snow, like
no.
So it was just a whole new world. I did not have the right clothes at all. No. I'm wearing chinos up to my ankles with Vans on, with trainer socks. I was not prepared for a Swedish winter. I got everything now. I got my dunjacka, my vinterjacka. I have everything now.
Your Timberlands on your shoes.
I got my Timberlands now. That's when I know I'm in Sweden for life.
Well, that's interesting. So it was like a punch in your face, just the winter.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly. It was strange. Like for me, the temperature wasn't so, but like wasn't a big issue. It was just straight. Everything was just white. I just couldn't. My eyes couldn't even focus. It was crazy. It just messed with my head. And where we were, because we weren't doing much as well, we were only training in the evening. So that became like you kind of sit in the house all day. We said the word we have in like cabin fever. You need to get out, but you couldn't really get out because there was nothing to do. Yeah. Because I lived in a town Holmsund, just outside of Umeå, so there wasn't much to do there. There was you had the gym. It was gym and football. That's all we had at the time. So.
Yeah. And I also when you are moving to do a sport and you don't know anyone in that town, it can become a little lonely. Yeah. How was the experience there? Was it like hard mentally?
What was really good, I moved with my best friend.
Oh yeah.
So we flew back over together. So he kind of knew the town, knew the players, and kind of brought me in as well. And they were those guys that I played. Sandvik was the team I played for in Umeå. Yeah. They're some of my best friends now. I'm still in contact with all of them. They made when I first came here, an easy experience for me, to be honest. I never felt an outsider or anything like that. They went out of their way to speak English with me and everything. Obviously, everyone has good English in Sweden.
Really?
Yeah, I was blown away. because my thoughts of Sweden before I came over was it snows all year round. Yeah, it's just blonde girls and ABBA. That's all I knew about Sweden at the time. That's all I knew, and that was how I was very wrong as well.
Don't you learn something about Sweden in your school?
No, not at all. Not
Why?
at all. Not at all. I suppose I don't really know. I couldn't give you the answer why. But
yeah, maybe it's a hard
just,
question.
Like when obviously say a history lesson in school, we would do stuff on English history or the Egyptians or the Romans. Like it would never be anything about Vikings, say for example, anything like that. So Sweden was just from what I knew from football, Swedish football players and that. But the place itself, no idea. I had no idea how like long the country is, you can say, but how small the population was at the same time. That's another thing I like about Sweden is there's not so many people around, if that kind of makes sense. You can, in England, we're a lot of people in a small place, a small island really. So it's everywhere's chaos all the time. There's cars on the road, you're queuing up all the time. Whereas Sweden, everything's just relaxed. Yeah, no one stresses. It was nice. Yeah.
How is the the mentality like if you compare England to Sweden? I think we are more like laid back.
Absolutely.
So like more maybe open people.
Yeah.
Like it's easier.
Welcoming's a good word.
Welcoming.
Because I think the thing with England is if you're a foreigner in England, you're more likely to get a punch in the face than a hug. I think.
Really?
Yeah. Especially where I'm from as well, because it's such a small place. It's like villages. Yeah. People are so narrow-minded. They live there from how they used to be in the 60s. It's just they don't like outsiders. You can say as much. Yeah. So it's not like because it's not like a city like London where it's all ethnicities, nationalities. Where I'm from, it's just people from there. Do you know what I mean? It's So yeah.
But I want to know how was it to like when you said like you go out 3 times a week when you played over there.
Yeah.
But how did you come into football? Like it's your like safe haven. Haven or but how did you start playing?
Well, I think it was my mum. My mum took me to some team. I can't remember the name of the team when I was 4 years old, and I was playing against boys that were 7 and 8 years old. And then I ended up moving to a team called Charlestown where I ended up playing from 5 until 16. I became like and that's when I until the age of 11 I always played a year or 2 years above my age. So I think that kind of helped me with the physicality of English football. Like I was, and because that's kind of how I play my game myself. I'm an aggressive Englishman. I think is the best way. I like to win. As soon as I go over the white line, it's me or you. And so So it was my mum originally that got me into football, and then obviously you make friends through football, and you know what I mean? So it's
So when you grew up in England, did you go to many Premier League games?
No, because the nearest Premier League club to where I'm from now is Bournemouth, and that's 3.5 hours away.
Oh, okay.
But when I was a kid, they weren't in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So I've been to maybe 4 Premier League games in my whole lifetime, and that's usually been through a football club that I've played for. We've gone on a day trip or something like that. So for me, it was just watching local football, non-English non-league, you can say.
So, but how is the mentality in the teams over there when you grow up with older kids, like you play with older kids? Did they treat you well, or like did you have to grow up by yourself? Do you know what I mean?
No, because a lot of the guys were from the same town as well. Yeah, it's like because everyone knows each other, so everyone had each other's back. So it was like when we always, all my youth teams were very successful. So we would win our region and we'd go and play, and we would kind of, it'd always be us against them. Yeah. Like we're gonna stick together. If they fight with one of us, then they're gonna have to deal with all of us, kind of thing. So it was like it's a brotherhood mentality. Yeah, I can say. Yeah.
And that's a good lesson, I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think you can take that here to Sweden. And like push that to everyone else in the team, because I think it's like a harder way over there. Yeah. So the brotherhood, like you can, it becomes so much stronger here when you play in the team.
Yeah, exactly.
You take everyone in your backpack, and now we're gonna carry. You know.
I think that's why you see a lot more English players coming over to play in Sweden now, because Swedish clubs love the mentality. Yeah. Because even if you get paid or you don't get paid in England, you want to win no matter what. And I kind of, what I love, Swedish people don't really have that upbringing. Like
No.
when we play youth football in England, well, back when I played, it wasn't so much everyone has to play.
Yeah.
You play the best players to win the game. Whereas
Yeah.
I think in Sweden it was everyone has to play the same
Yeah,
minutes.
you have
and
right.
everything
Yeah,
like that.
you are right.
And I understand, like you don't want kids to miss out. But then it's like a double-edged sword. If kids miss out, then maybe you win the championship, and then if they play, they'll be happy. But maybe you don't win the championship. So
Yeah.
it's like it's a tough situation to be in. But my mindset is best players play, then you win games.
Yeah,
so.
that's so interesting also because it's here in Sweden in the youth. I don't know what year or what age you start to bring the top players
Yeah.
to the field, but I think it's like it's too much. It's so soft.
Yeah, very,
And if you don't play, if the coach don't play your son,
yeah,
the parents gonna get so freaking mad.
exactly. Yeah.
And I don't know if you can change that, but and where it's coming
No.
from. But I think it's a little bit wrong.
Yeah, it's right and wrong in the same way because,
Yeah.
like you say, you want to get everyone involved in sport and be active, but then you want to win at the same time. So I don't think there's a good or bad way of doing it. It's just
Yeah.
the manager has to decide how he wants to do it, and if
Yeah.
the parents don't like it, the kid has to go play for a different team because
Yeah.
there isn't just one team.
Yeah.
If you don't play in this team, there's many other teams to go and play for.
Yeah.
So it's
So it's like you get a reward, like a medal.
yeah,
You know what
medal. Yeah,
yeah,
medal,
you get a medal for coming last place.
yeah.
It's like then you teach the kid.
It's,
It-
yeah.
You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
teach the kid. Yeah, I'm fine. I got a medal.
Yeah.
I came last, but yeah.
Yeah.
But if you have the always the top players, you get the kids to strive every day. You
Exactly.
get them to work harder and
Yeah.
harder. And I think the parents there, they can be there and push them.
Yeah.
You are gonna be on the fucking field, man.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It should, yeah. I agree with you there. That you should use it as motivation
Yeah.
rather than whinge about it and
Yeah.
moan about it. It's a motivation to become better as a
Yeah.
person, not just as a sports person, as a person.
Yeah.
Because when you go into a job, if you want to get a
Mhm.
promotion,
Yeah.
I'm just happy coming in every day doing the job. But why would you not want to be better?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand people that don't want to be better.
Yeah.
Because
There is-
everyone can be better every single day.
yeah. And I think that's what we have to strive for.
Exactly.
But if we
100%.
don't do that, we're gonna end in this like we have works that we don't want. We have a life we just settled for. We didn't chose our life. You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
Yeah.
And that's where depression comes in, and
Yeah,
that's where
exactly.
we start to complaining about everything.
Yeah.
And I can't stand those people.
Nah.
I can't stand complaining because we can't choose our lives.
Nothing's given to us for free.
No,
You have to work for it.
you have to work
And it
hard.
can be anything, like you say, it can be sport, it can be job. Whatever
Yeah.
you want to do, you got to work hard. It doesn't matter what you want to do.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you're bringing up that because the message that's gonna be sent here,
Yeah.
and I hope everyone out there take it the right way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it can be taken both ways as well.
Yeah.
That's the problem with it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you have to work hard
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
to reach success.
I think with my mentality with that as well was because when I was growing up, I didn't have so much. Football was everything.
Yeah.
So if we played in a cup final and we came second and you get like a silver medal,
Yeah.
I don't want that silver medal. That's
No.
gone. I throw that away. That's not interested in that. I didn't come here for no silver medal.
Yeah.
So, but like I say, it goes to everyone's upbringing, their surroundings. There's many factors that can how a person's going to be.
Yeah.
So, but like you said, like people can take it the wrong way or
Yeah.
just take it as a positive as well.
But we are bringing the positive here.
Absolutely,
we are not starting to like get an argument or
No,
like
not at all, not at all,
no
no.
negativity here
No.
at all. We just want to bring the positive and work harder.
Exactly.
But how your mentality when you come to Sweden? How did the Swedish guys take the mentality, your hard mentality? Was it like, oh fuck Kieren,
Yeah.
oh he cannot come here and say shit, or did I take it well?
Yeah, I think the older guys in the team, well, the guys that were around my age, because we had a very young team. I think the oldest player was 24 actually, and we had a lot of 17-year-olds in the team. So I think it took a bit of time for them to get used to someone screaming at them every training.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what they learned was I'm screaming because I want to make them better,
Yeah.
not because I'm mad at them. Like if I see, I've always said this to people that might have a problem with me shouting and stuff on the pitch, but if I've seen you play at a certain level, I expect to see that level every time you play. If I see you drop on the level, I'm going to be on you. I'm going to, and maybe because some people they react to shouting, some people react to an arm around the shoulder, but for me, I shout. That's I need to shout for me to perform. But then I can understand for some people why it doesn't work. Everyone's different. But if I see you playing at a level, I expect you to play at that level.
And when you are a sports guy like that, when you gel on like your teammates, I think they can gel at you too. If they see you're not focused,
absolutely.
I think you can take it.
Absolutely,
because the sportsmen are like you.
I want to know.
Yeah, they want to know. Also, they can take yelling.
Yeah, absolutely.
They can take shit.
Yeah.
So and that's just good for the team, just for the like everything to grow stronger.
Yeah.
So I really like that about you. I didn't know like you were that hard about it.
Yeah. Because people can get the wrong idea. People see it as criticism when you shout.
Yeah.
But maybe because when someone shouts, it sounds aggressive. No matter how you shout, it sounds aggressive because you've raised your voice. But yeah, for me, it's always you play at a certain level.
Yeah.
I expect to see that level every time. So.
But how are you preparing when you put these like krav? Like you are expecting your teammates to be on this level.
Yeah.
How are you preparing yourself to be on that level? Because you also want to be well prepared.
Yeah.
You want to perform at
I think for me, like going back to what I said earlier, like how football growing up, I didn't have much, so football was everything. For me, it's not a matter of life and death, but it's 11v11. That team's wants something that you've got, and you want something they've got. And for me, it's like the mentality is you're not taking that from me.
You have like the switch in your head.
Because I like growing up with not much, and so if you have something and someone tries to take it from you, no, you're not taking it. I don't have much. You're not taking it. So that switches to me in football as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like it kind of takes me back to a time when I was a kid where, like, say, you're not taking this from me. I don't care if I'm 30, if I'm 20, 35, 45. I'll have that mentality. Even if I would have a lot now, still have that mentality, which I think is a good thing for me. It keeps me going, I can say.
So if I understand you right, you just when it's a game day, you don't like have to do much to be really focused and really.
I'm very relaxed.
You're switched on when you go on the field.
Yeah, I'm very relaxed. When I'm in a change room, I'm always the joker.
Yeah.
And that's just me being me. Like I don't have to sit down with headphones on and listen to a certain song. As soon as the whistle goes, then the switch has been flipped.
Yeah.
So like in the change room, it looks like I don't care, I'm not ready, but that's just me. Yeah. That's just me having a joke, making everyone else relaxed as well. So.
Yeah, that's good. You don't have to be super stressed. No. It's just a fucking game. But to you, it's
a little bit more than that.
Yeah, it's a little
bit more than that.
But it's nothing wrong with that. But how was your like childhood? You said you didn't have much.
No.
Growing up in England, it's like I don't know how it is to grow up in England. So
yes, I suppose I'll say it's different for everyone because you have different areas and everything. Yeah. Like so, I grew up in what we call a council estate.
Yeah.
So they're known for not being the nicest places, but I had a reasonably nice house. It wasn't very big, but it was nice enough. The surrounding area wasn't so nice. There was a lot of police cars around a lot of the time and stuff like that. So, yeah, and so also my mum, she had me quite young when she was 19, and she was working as well. So we always had food on the table and stuff like this. But when it came to say football boots, for example, you see like my teammates, their parents are buying them £120 football boots, £150, like every few months. I would get one pair that cost about £10 a year.
So you're like the club that you played in did not buy.
No, not in youth football, no, because it was just a local team. It was it was just a local team, and like I did what we call a paper round in England. So I delivered papers every morning before school.
Really? How young was you?
I was from the age of 13 to 15 doing that. So every morning, wake up at 6 a.m. deliver papers for an hour, and doing that 7 days, I'd get £14, so 140 crowns a week doing that. Yeah, exactly. So that was it. I had to make money to, because it got to the point I'd have to buy my own stuff as well, like football boots. If I wanted a pair which were £40, so
Yeah.
400 crowns, I'd have to save up myself.
Yeah. What did your mom work with?
She was a dental nurse.
Okay.
So, like, say she was in a dentist. She's
Yeah.
like not the dentist, but the one who's there with the dentist the whole time. So,
Yeah. But you also have siblings.
a sibling, yeah, a younger sister and a younger brother, yeah.
How did you come along? How was the family relation?
So my mum had me with my biological dad, and they split up quite early, a couple years after me being born.
Yeah.
And then my mum got with my stepdad when I reckon I was about 4 or 5. So my brother and sister are, you can say, technically they're half brother and half sister, but they've never been seen that way because
Yeah.
I've always been around. Yeah.
So, I know you had some, I cannot say trouble, but you had a hard time growing up.
Yeah. My mum drank a lot. She drank a lot, and I reckon it took till I got about the age of 10, I started to realise that it was an issue. Because when you come home from school and your mum's drinking wine when you're 8, and you don't really think anything of it, like you don't know what alcoholics are at that age, really.
But how was she? Was she like really drunk or just always a drink in her hand?
Yeah, at first it was always a drink in her hand, and then so I didn't think much of it. But when I was about 10 or 11, and I would come home from football practice on a Thursday night and say, "Mum, I need to be at this place at this time on a Sunday."
Yeah.
It comes to Sunday morning, and I say, "Mum, we got to go now." She's like, "We got to go where?" So obviously when I've told her on Thursday night, she's so drunk that she doesn't remember the conversation that we had. So at the age of 10 and 11, I started to realise that, and then I started going to all the games with other parents and stuff like that. And yeah, so it was around that time I noticed she had a problem. And then obviously as I got a little bit older, I tried confronting her about it.
Yeah.
But I was always told that I was a kid and I don't tell my mum what to do.
Yeah.
Tried talking to family members at the time as well, but because they didn't live in the house 24/7 like I did,
Yeah.
they didn't see what happened 24/7.
Yeah.
And a big issue I had as well with my mum was one of her comments always used to be that I get you to school on time. She thought that defined what a good mother was, getting me to school on time, but she wasn't there to help with homework. If I had a problem at school, I couldn't talk to her about it because she was drunk. So it's like, because I got bullied a lot when I was in school.
Really?
Yeah, in say from like class 5 to class 6, I got bullied a lot.
Why?
Because for being ginger.
Oh.
For being ginger, yeah. So like even though I was bigger than everyone, I was very quiet and shy at that time. I didn't like confrontation. I didn't like. So I just kind of took it and just bottled it all up inside.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I say with my mum. Then obviously as I got older, it got worse and worse. She would like get mad at me. She hit me a couple times, like not like a punch in the face, but like a slap in the back of the head. I'd hear her throwing up some mornings before she took us to school, and then I'd say my last few years before I moved to Sweden, that's when I noticed there was a big change in how bad it was getting. It was more wine. She couldn't function without alcohol, and then health problems started to come along. She was driving drunk, and there was one time I had a match. I was playing for some men's team in England, and she came to the game with my little brother in the car. I wasn't expecting her to come to the game, and she come to the game, and I could tell she was drunk, and I was so mad that she took my little brother, who would have been 8 at the time, no, 6 or 7 at the time, and drove him when she was drunk in the car. So I paid for a taxi for me and my brother to go home. I wouldn't let him get back in the car at all. No.
So like really drunk?
I got to the point where I could just tell. I could just tell. Like it wasn't like you could smell it on her or she was falling over, but you can always tell by someone's eyes, can't you? When they're drunk, the eyes go first, can't they? So I could always tell.
Was she supportive with your football?
Like You can say at first, yeah, because she was the one who got me into football.
Yeah.
But a real hard thing. It wasn't so much at the time. It's more when I look back on it now. It's because we were very successful. We'd win cup finals, leagues, go away to tournaments and win. When we'd win those games, obviously as a kid you go straight to your parents after.
Yeah.
I had no one there. So I always, even though I had a lot of success, I never felt the sense of success. I didn't feel anyone was proud of me. I didn't feel that I'd done anything right. So that goes back to with the football, how it means so much to me, because that's all I had. That was, so like football coaches over my whole career have been like my parents.
Yeah.
They've been my role models. They're the people that I've looked up to. So
Yeah. So you came home to like an empty house. You felt empty after like a cup win or.
yeah, and which you shouldn't feel like when you've won.
No,
You should have joy and happiness and family around you. But yeah, I never had that.
Yeah, I'm just getting like pictures in my head, you know. I can only, or I cannot imagine how it feels because I have had great success in sports and also supportive parents.
Yeah, exactly.
Always.
Yeah.
And it has mean like everything to me.
Yeah.
Because you want to share your success with your parents.
Yeah, you want to see them be happy for you.
Yeah, and that's like everything. So, but did that affect you in a bad way? Did you get like was that a thing that you became so shy in school?
I can't say I thought about it going to school, but I could say maybe it had a factor like deep down. Like I wasn't thinking about it, but I was only confident when it came to sport. I think that was the thing. Like I was only confident when I came to sport. And a big issue I had as well was my best friend that I moved to Sweden with. Yeah. He was obviously around my house a lot, so he knew the whole situation with my mum. But other friends that would come round now and then, they would find it funny, which I understand. If you go to a friend's house as a kid and their mum's drunk, it's funny. Yeah. It is funny. And like, I didn't feel angry at them for that, but I felt embarrassed myself that, okay, maybe they'll go say to another friend that Kieran's mum was drunk and stuff like this. So I think the bit where I kind of crashed myself was when I was in gymnasium. Yeah. My girlfriend at the time, obviously she would have been spending a lot of time in my house. She understood what was going on as well. And at this time, we broke up and my best friend had moved away. So they were the two people I could have relied on at the time to have support with my mum. And then when they were away, I just felt like I was so alone. So alone. I had no one to talk to. I had no one to be around. And that's where things started getting quite bad for me, really.
Yeah. But in school, did you open up about your life situation to your teachers?
No, I never opened up till I was about 18 in gymnasium. 18, yeah.
So that's a long road.
Because I was always told by my mum, like, you don't tell me what to do kind of thing. And like, kind of, I won't say that family members ignored what I was saying, but they didn't see it as a bigger issue as I did, as they weren't there the whole time. Yeah. Like if you have a family party, of course everyone drinks. Yeah. So if my mum's drunk, she's drunk. Everyone else is drunk, so it's not an issue. Yeah. But they didn't see it day after day after day, and the lack of support that I was getting growing up.
But how did she manage to do her work?
I have for a lot. I have no idea, but she eventually lost her job.
Okay.
Through alcohol. Yeah, she lost her job. Her health got so bad that she was struggling to walk. She got to the point where she couldn't leave. This is more recent. So she passed away in January. Oh yeah. Yeah, my mum passed away in January. So it got to the point that while I've been in Sweden, that she couldn't leave the bed. She was wet in the bed. She would fall over and wake up and not know what had happened. So yeah, it got real bad. And I always felt one thing that really was tough for me was with my younger brother and sister, when they were growing up and young and not really know what was going on. One thing I wanted to do was I wanted to fix my mum, so they would never have to see what I've seen and been through what I've been through. Yeah. Obviously that didn't happen, and I moved to Sweden. And then as she got gradually worse and worse, I always felt a massive sense of guilt that I left them in that situation. Yeah. So it's always been tough for me being away from them, especially when they've grown up and they realise and they're messaging me about it. It's like I felt very selfish, even though like I wasn't, because I was just following my dream and stuff like this. It was I was caught in the middle of both situations. I didn't know what to do, and I'd cry a lot. I'd cry most nights. It really affected me badly. But I always had football, so I was lucky. I always had football. So.
I was thinking about that because that must have been so fucking hard to see your mom, to see your family, and then you have your dream. You can move to Sweden.
Yeah.
Like the thing on your chest. Like, what are you gonna choose?
Yeah.
Because it is your life and it's only yours. So you have to follow your dreams to make you happy.
That's the issue I had with it. It was, you say, you're just torn between the two. I didn't know what to do, and when you feel like that, it makes you feel worse yourself because your mind's going crazy and everything. But so going back to when I was around 18, 19, and my friend and I moved away, and I broke up with my girlfriend. I think in a space of 2 years, I tried to commit suicide twice.
Really?
Yeah.
How?
First time was I was 18 and I was in gymnasium, and I just left. I left gymnasium at like 10 in the morning, went to the pub, just drinking. And there's like a bridge in my hometown which goes onto the train track. So my plan was to jump off the bridge. And then the second time was I was just drinking vodka. I think it was about 19 and a half, not long before I moved to Sweden, to be honest. About 19 and a half, just drinking vodka and just taking pills. Like painkillers, like you say, like I know it's like ibuprofens and paracetamols, but just taking them. But the thing with me was, I don't think I ever wanted to do it.
It's just a scream for help.
Because I always told people I was going to do it.
Oh yeah.
Rather, do you know what I mean? Like if I truly wanted to do it, I would have done it and been quiet about it. But I think I just didn't know. I didn't know where else to turn. I didn't know what else to do. And this was the point where I was going out a lot myself, because with my mum, I've only ever seen if she was happy, she drank. If she was sad, she drank. And if she was normal, she drank. So I never knew how to control emotion. Everything ended up with alcohol. If I was annoyed or angry at something, I drank. If I was happy because we won a football match, I would drink. So I started going into that spiral myself. So that's why I always say moving to Sweden was the best thing I ever did.
Yeah, I can only imagine that. And how do you think it's like genetic when she drank so much? Do you think you have the genetics to drink much also?
I don't know if it was the genetics. I just think I had never seen another way to deal with an emotion other than drinking. Yeah. I think that was the issue. Like it was kind of embedded in my brain. I don't think I wasn't born with being able to drink. I just think as a kid, you learn from your parents. Yeah. And that was what I learned from my mum was you have a problem, you drink.
What did you feel when you became drunk at that stage of
I felt I didn't think about it.
Was it like a relief?
I was free. Like it was the same as when I'm on a football pitch. I was free. For that moment I had no worries. I was just drunk, having a good time and stuff like that. But then that me drinking so much was affecting my football, which was then making me more and more depressed. Because at the age of 19 I got diagnosed with manic depression with bipolar tendencies. And like when people hear bipolar, they kind of if you don't really know about it, they think that it's you're angry and you're happy, that it goes like that. But mine was kind of different because I would go from the highest of highs, but when I had a bad day, I wasn't sad. It feels like my body's paralyzed. Oh. I can't leave a room. I can't go outside and face people. I worry so much. It's a strange feeling to like your brain's telling you to move, but your body doesn't move, and I still have issues with it now. I still, I'm dealing with it a lot better than I used to, because I've got a good support circle around me and everything like that. But from time to time, it will hit me, and like I'll have to take time off work because I can't face people. I don't know why. I wish I knew why, but it just comes and goes, and there's times when I can feel it creeping in a little bit. But I've learned not to deal with it with alcohol. I think that's something I've learned. I kind of I try and relax myself a little bit. Okay, Kieren, I know you want to go drink now because you'll forget about it, but don't. Yeah. So,
did you get pills or medicines for that?
See, the big issue I had was when I was 19 in gymnasium, king of the college, captain of the football team, just so many friends. When they told me that I had this and that I needed to take tablets, I felt so embarrassed
Mm.
because the guy I'm meant to be the strong guy for my teammates, being the captain.
Mm.
So how can I show them weakness was my kind of thought process. So I refused to take tablets
Yeah.
because I thought, okay, if I'm taking tablets, I'm a crazy person.
Mm.
And then obviously I should have, because it didn't get any better. And when I told my friends as well, they didn't. I can't say they distanced themselves from me, but they didn't know how to be around me. They'd never seen me in the way I was, because I was finally letting go of 10, 12 years of emotion.
Yeah.
So they didn't know how to be. So I was never mad at them for that, because if I was in the same position, I wouldn't have known how to react.
Yeah.
But it was only I think it was I took pills again my first year in Kieren.
Oh.
That recent, yeah, it was that recent. I don't take them anymore because it's been better and
Yeah.
it's creeping in. I always kind of, obviously I feel it creeping in, and then if I feel that it's getting worse, I will go back and do it again. Like you should never be ashamed to take tablets. If they help you, they help you. But I think the problem was because my mum also got diagnosed with depression as well while she was drinking and taking tablets. And some people in my family didn't agree with her taking tablets.
Okay.
So that kind of stuck in my mind as well.
How is the agenda in England? Because now here in Sweden and like everywhere in the world, the mental health is coming up.
Exactly.
You don't have to be ashamed
No.
to feel depressed.
But 10 years ago, that wasn't
Yeah,
there.
it's
10 years ago, wasn't there at all. A man had to be a man. They couldn't show emotion.
Yeah.
I don't think I wanted to show weakness as well, because I was always priding myself on being the strong guy,
Yeah.
the brotherhood with my teammates, being the
Yeah.
big brother, looking after them if there was a problem.
Yeah.
So for me to admit that I wasn't as strong as everyone thought was a really, really hard thing to do.
But did you confess that you not always were the strong guy? That you had some problems with yourself and in your family? Did you confess? You said that you opened up like when you were
Like 18, 19 it was, yeah.
But to who did you open up to?
Open up to, I started speaking to my teammates and my friends and letting them in a little bit more. And at first, they were kind of distanced themselves. They weren't sure how to be around me. So I probably wasn't a fun person to be around. I used to be the joker, and I wasn't that anymore. But then they kind of got around me again. And then I moved to Sweden as well, with my best friend who always knew about it.
Mm.
So it was perfect. Like I was taken out of the situation, which was the good thing for me.
Yeah.
It was really good for me to do that, yeah.
But how? What person did you become when you drank so much? Did you become angry?
No, I became that joker again.
Yeah.
I became the guy that I wanted to be when I was sober.
Yeah.
And I think that was the problem with it, that I wanted to have that feeling again, but I couldn't have it if I wasn't drinking.
But you said you didn't have so much money. Where did you get alcohol
It's
from?
so cheap in England. It's
It is,
ridiculous.
okay,
yeah,
yeah.
like an entry to the nightclub was 20 crowns.
Okay.
Drinks are 15 crowns.
Yeah.
So it was because I was still getting paid from the football team as well.
Yeah.
And I was working part-time in like a supermarket like 2 days on the weekend.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to pay rent. I was still living at home and everything like that. So I had enough money to go and do that kind of thing. It was, yeah.
But when you got older and you get your job and you lived with your mom at this time, 18, 19?
Yeah. I lived at home until I moved at 20 years old. Yeah.
Okay. But how did you manage to pay like rent or
When I was in England.
yeah?
No, I never had to pay rent.
But did your mom, because she
My-
lost her
my-
job?
Well, she to be fair, she lost the job while I've been in Sweden.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But my stepdad had a good salary.
Oh,
So he took care of a lot of things. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. I just didn't know that when she lost her.
Yeah, she lost it.
worked,
She lost it maybe 2014. I think it was around that time she lost her job. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you manage to stay in contact with your family when you moved here?
As in my mum and stepdad, or my brother and sister.
With your mom and
I
everything with that.
I cut her off completely because it was healthier for me
Yeah.
not to talk to her, because she went through a stage where it's always embarrassing when someone's parents gets Facebook.
Yeah.
No one wants their parent on Facebook, do they?
No.
But problem was when she got it and she'd go on there, she'd be drunk.
Oh.
So she would post a photo of me when I was like 14 and I'd be 22, 24 at the time.
Mm.
And she posts a photo of me at 14 and say, I'm so happy that Kieren won the cup this day.
Mm.
But it had nothing to do with the current time. It was, or she would write stuff like, I'm really happy Kieren got good college results. and this was 7 years after I got my college results.
Yeah.
So I had to block her off
Okay,
social
yeah.
media. Didn't speak to her, and then I gave her an ultimatum. I said, right, listen, you decide. You either drink wine, or you can talk to me. And so she chose wine at the end of the day. There was one time where I went home and I gave her one more chance.
Okay.
And I really, the things that she said to me from that day on, I was done. I had no interest. The woman that was my mum wasn't there anymore. So she said to me that I'm the reason that she started drinking when she had me, and she also said that I brainwashed my brother and sister not to like her. And when she said that, I was, that's me done. You're toxic to my life. But issue is now, like, I didn't speak to her for about 18 months before she died. And I remember I got a call in early January when I was working here in Kieren, and they said to me, your mum's got about 3 days. So I flew home the next morning, flew back, and I saw her on the hospital bed, and she all these tubes in her and stuff, and she couldn't talk. She couldn't open her eyes, and I remember my stepdad shouting my name, and she opened her eyes, so she knew I was there, but she couldn't talk to me. And so I got a chance to say my goodbyes, but one thing that still haunts me now is I don't remember the last thing we actually said to each other. And that's something that, as much as pain she caused me and everything like that, it's still, it eats away at me every single day, because I just don't remember. And I don't think it would have been nice either. I don't think it would have been nice words to say to each other. Like, no matter what she did and everything like that, she was still the person that brought me into the world. As much as she did a lot of bad things, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here today, kind of thing. So
why do you think she blamed you for everything?
She said those words when she was drunk, so when you look back on it, I don't think she meant what she said. But the fact that those words came out was just enough for me. Like, even though you're drunk in that moment, why say that? There was no need to. It was because I was saying that she drank too much in that moment, like, and she had to come back with something, I guess. She had me very young and ended up being a single mum, so it would have had an effect, but it wasn't my fault, was it? It wasn't. I was a baby. How could I have done affected anything? So
have you ever talked to your mom about, because I can only imagine the struggle, because you wanna know why she started to become this mother.
Yeah.
Have you talked about why she chose that?
No, to be fair, I never really did, because it was impossible to talk to her because she was always drunk. Like
so impossible that you never got the chance.
Yeah, and during her later years, she lied a lot. She would tell someone something and then tell someone else a completely different story. So you never knew what story you were going to get from her, kind of thing. So it was just, but she had so many chances. Like, my family offered to pay for her to go into a private rehab, which was 10,000 English pounds. The family offered to pay for it. She refused it because she said that my little brother needed his mum around, and that was the last thing that he needed, was an alcoholic mum around. Yeah. She just didn't want to accept that she was an alcoholic. And like, she was young. She was 47 when she died. So really young. So
wow, it's so much to take in, man.
Man.
It's wow. But how is your relation with your siblings? Always been good?
Great relationship with my siblings.
I can only imagine when you have that kind of family situation. I think the siblings grow stronger.
Yeah, and it's because I'm the oldest. So yeah, say I'm 28 now. My sister's 22 in January, and my brother just turned 16. Yeah. So I've always been kind of an adult when they were a kid as well. Like, it kind of makes sense. So like when I first come to Sweden, I would send back a little bit of money when I had spare money, just so they could get something that they wanted as well. Do you know what I mean? So, but I gotta say, with my stepdad, we didn't see eye to eye when I was growing up. When I was younger, I can say, because he also didn't admit that my mum had a problem, and he would drink as well. But he didn't need to drink. He would just drink, come home from work, have a couple beers, whatever. It's only been the last 3 or 4 years where he's really understood where I was coming from the whole time. So we have quite a good relationship now.
So your mother had a partner
Yeah.
like the last time before you moved to Sweden.
Yeah, but her partner is my brother and sister's dad.
Yeah. Okay.
But he was with my mum from 4, so he's been around in my life 24 years.
You
so.
still have contact?
Yeah, now and then. It's not regular,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's not for any reason. It's just I'm here, there,
Yeah.
that he's there. So we'll say every month or so we'll message each other, kind of thing, just see how everything's going. So
What was his role in all that when you lived in England, when everything like came around?
But like I said, I don't think because he.
How can he like chose a life to stay with her?
Yeah, well, her last few years, they weren't really together. He stayed in the house for the kids. Do you know what I mean? Like to be there for them, and But I think I went back to England in October, and me and him had a good heart to heart when I was back, and he kind of said, I kind of understood, like it was his partner, his love of his life, you can say, or whatever. He had to support her.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I understand that, but you still could have been on my side.
Yeah.
And that was it. About 4 or 5 years ago, he started turning onto my side. When I said my mum said that I was the reason, he got so mad with her. He was like, how can you say that to your son? Kind of thing. And it was even, and I've got a little side story here. When I went back, what was it, the summer of 2018? Yeah. So last summer, I went back to England. Hadn't seen my mum. And he come and I was at the beach, and he came and picked me up because my mum had been in a hospital. This one of the many health problems she had for alcohol. He picked me up, and she hadn't seen me in a year and a half. Because of what alcohol had done to her, she wasn't drunk at the time. She didn't even realise I was in the car for the first 20 minutes of the journey. She did not even realise I was sat behind her in the car.
But did she always stick to alcohol? Was it sometimes drugs or?
Not like you could say. She took tablets for like all. She didn't like abuse tablets. I can never say that. But she had to take a lot of tablets for all the health problems.
Yeah.
Like the liver, the kidneys, everything, like depression. Excuse me. So yeah, it was alcohol was her addiction.
Yeah.
It was nothing else than that. Yeah.
Wow. Man, it's so hard.
Mate,
it's so hard for me.
It's nice for me to like. I like to speak about it. Like I wouldn't like go up to a random person and just open it up. But I've always been. Once I got it out when I was 18, I've always been very open with it. Like, if you ask me a question, I'll give you the answer. So it's easy for me to talk.
I love that, and that's why we are sitting here, brother.
Thanks, man.
It's like with me because like 3 years now, sober and clean. Not sober, I drink like alcohol, but from drugs. You know my story.
Yeah.
So and when you come to that point when you just, oh my God, what the fuck have I done?
Yeah.
And you just stop with drugs, and then you talk about it, and then you feel this relief from your chest. It feels so good.
Yeah, exactly.
So now it's, if someone like asks me like how's the drugs going, well, I'm clean for 3 years now.
Exactly.
It's no problem.
Yeah.
And I don't care about if you like, let's say you like, if you think I'm a drug abuser or like a white trash boy. I don't care because I know me now.
Exactly, you know yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's one thing that I've always lived by as well, because no one judged me when I told my story. That even if everyone's got a history.
Yeah.
So I always take people on face value. Like I've met people before, and they like I've become friends with them, and then a person will be like, "Well, why are you friends with them?" I said, "He's done nothing wrong to me. He's a nice person. Like, yeah, okay, maybe you don't get on with him, but that doesn't mean I don't have to."
Yeah. That's so important.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I fucking love that.
Yeah, everyone needs to make their own mind up about people. Maybe it's the wrong decision sometimes, but you make your own mistakes as well at the same time.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. And you never know what people are going through.
No.
You can never know.
No.
So that's why it's so good to open up.
Yeah.
And I can see you, like, it's so relaxing for you to talk about this.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I like that. That means, I think, that you have come to a point where you can actually, can you say like peace to your mom, or have you got peace with her?
I can say very close. So I'm not fully there just yet, because I say it still eats me up that I don't remember the last thing that we said.
Yeah.
And I haven't actually had, when we buried her, I haven't actually been back to the grave since. Obviously, being in Sweden, it's a bit difficult, but I was back in England, and I don't know, I couldn't bring myself to go there when I was back. I had the intention to go there, but I still had a lot of anger still inside me.
Yeah.
So it's a process.
Yeah.
I'll get there eventually. I'll get there eventually. But I think it's so much had happened, and so many things still affect me to this day from how she was. Like one that I kind of laugh about myself is when I was younger. Like in England, Sunday is a big drinking day. So my mum used to go to the pub from like 12, maybe 11:30 till 6 p.m. And I would be like a 10, 11-year-old, say. So left in the house on my own. I didn't know how to cook, didn't know how to make food. So no lunch, no dinner, in a dark house. Like in kind of not a rough neighborhood, but not, it had its moments, you can say, the neighborhood. And I used to ring her and ask, what's for dinner? You'll have dinner when we come home. When you coming home? I'll come home when I want to come home. So now if I'm anywhere on my own I can be in my apartment and like in a dark room on my own, I'll start to panic.
Oh yeah.
It still affects me now, and it's like I say, I laugh at it myself. Like I'm 28 years old, 6'3", quite a big guy, big guy, and being in a dark room affects me.
It haunts you.
Yeah, it haunts me. It's a good word for it. Yeah, and I've come to, and what I used to do when I was in that situation, I drink because it would relax me, but I don't do it anymore. So I kind of, when it happens, I know it's happening. I just gotta ride the wave. You can say, like, just get through it and it'll be all right. So
just accept it.
Accept that I'm gonna feel like this, even though it's not nice. But just keep.
I think it's maybe the process.
On. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about seeking professional help?
I've been to psychiatrists and stuff before, and when I went to one in college when I first got diagnosed with depression, the person who was kind of the wrong person for me, because it was an older lady, and she made me feel like a bit of like I was 19 at the time. She made me feel like I was 8 years old. The way she was talking, like, and that was just how she was. Is when I've been in Sweden and I've gone and seen someone where I've been treated, when mental health to men has become more of an issue, that I felt more at ease, more comfortable talking to a doctor about it, and because they understand, they understand more than. So yeah, it was, and that was the thing with at college when I spoke to she was a counsellor, they called her at college, someone there for the kids to talk to, but that made me more embarrassed to tell my friends about it because how she treated me, kind of thing. So yeah.
And you mentioned in the beginning, something about your biological dad.
My father,
yeah, your father.
Yeah.
Your relation.
So with him, him and my mum split up very early, like I said before.
Yeah.
And then must have been about the age of, I used to go and see him I can't remember if it was every weekend, I was so young, every weekend or every other weekend. Yeah. And when I'd go with him, we go to the pub.
Really?
Yeah, we go to the pub. So I was always around alcohol. Always. Like he's not an alcoholic at all. He can drink a lot, and he goes and drinks quite a few days of the week. But if he doesn't want to drink, he doesn't have to. And I remember saying one day, very young, Mum, I don't want to go with him no more, because we're always in the pub. And then I didn't have contact with him till I was about 16. 16, and it was a weird one. I was working at my job in the supermarket on the checkout, and he walked past, and this is a man that I haven't seen in 10, 11 years. I knew instantly it was my dad. He knew instantly who I was, and I knew instantly who he was. So he come up and spoke to me, and we met up the next day in the pub. In the pub again, and then we had a kind of good relationship for, you say, like 4 years, and then we kind of fell out a bit again, and then we haven't spoke now for probably about a year and a half, because he has a big problem with. So my full name is Kieren Conibear-Trathen, as we said. So which is Conibear is my mum's name, Trathen is my stepdad's name.
Okay.
Which my brother and sister both have these names. Yeah. So I changed my name at the age of 16 before I'd met my dad again. What I didn't realise was I was born with my biological dad's name. So I was born Kieran Hammond. But because my mum and him weren't together, when I started school, I was just called Kieran Conibear. So when I found that out at 16, I was very sad because it felt everything I actually did was illegal. It wasn't in that name. Like, so every football thing I did with my Kieren Conibear, that wasn't my actual name.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of had a feeling to me that it didn't count. I never did it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think my real dad's always had a problem that I've got some other man's name in my name. That's where we don't get on. Because I try and say to him, I didn't know you when my name was changed. But he find it hard to deal with, and we don't talk anymore. So I'm sure we'll talk again in the future. Like, we'll both end up talking about it. But it's an issue on his part. It's not an issue on my part. So and we have two different types of lifestyles. So he does what he wants to do, and I'll do what I'm doing over here. So I'm very at ease with that. Like, that's not something that. Of course, I think it bothers me more that I have no parent to talk to.
Yeah.
One's dead, and one that I don't talk to.
Yeah.
So, because I think every kid, just if something happens, they want to speak to a parent. And I've never had that. So I find it. I don't know. I'm kind of losing my words here. I just wish I had someone to talk to. Like, you can speak to your best friend, but it's still not your mum or dad, is it? It's the thing. So it's.
And then we come to that. As a kid, we don't choose our parents.
Exactly.
And that's when we hear your story, like, it's so hard, but maybe you have to accept that you were born in, like, not wrong family, but you were born in that family, and you cannot do anything to change that.
I think I kind of take it as a blessing in some ways as well, is that I've seen how not to be a parent.
Yeah.
I've seen all the mistakes you can make as a parent. Yeah. So I know how to be a good parent. And
that's really good that you have taken all this shit to make it a positive way of life.
Negative into a positive. Yeah. That's kind of my mentality. That's how I gotta be. Like, I feel like I'm strong-minded, even though I've had my breakdowns. Like, but I don't think many people can deal with that sort of stuff. So that's why I don't feel weak or embarrassed about it, because I think it would get to any person. So, but a big thing, like, why I like to get my story out there as well, is because people saw me when I was in college. People will see me here in Kieren, like captain of the team. When I'm on a night out, I'm a very social guy. I like to speak to everyone. You see that person, you don't think they have any problems in the world.
No.
So one thing that I read this the other day, it was, if you feel your friend's got a problem, ask them how they're feeling. If they say fight, make sure you ask them again.
Yeah.
Don't just, if they don't really want to talk, don't let them not talk. Just not push an answer out of them, but just let them know that you're there. If they want to talk and then they're ready, you're there. So.
Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice to hear. And I was gonna ask you also about the audience out there. Do you have any tips and tricks to, like, deal with this depression stuffs and, like, the stuffs in your life that gets you down?
I can say, obviously, what worked for me might not work for everyone else. But obviously, I think one thing that works for everyone will be have a strong support circle. Have good people around you. Have good friends around you, family members that you trust around you. And for me, staying active was a big thing.
Yeah.
I found, even though I wasn't I may not be enjoying football, but even go out for a walk. Just listen to music. Something. Don't just try not to. It's easier said than done, but try not to shut yourself off from the world.
You have to distract your brain.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think that's so important. And practice, training, go to the gym, walk, everything. It's so important. And then don't be afraid to open up.
It doesn't even have to be a physical activity. Read a book.
Yeah.
Start a series on Netflix.
Yeah.
Just keep your mind occupied, because they say if you sit in a room on your own, you're gonna think about one thing, and that's your depression. That's all you're gonna do. So.
And we also have a good example here. If you have good parents, you were born in a good family, and you have problems. Look at Kieren. He did not have anyone to talk to. If you have your mom and dad out there in your house and you don't have any problems, talk to them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can talk to your mom and your dad about everything. They are your parents. They're gonna be there.
Like what I would give to. I don't want to change anything because it's made me the person I am today. But what I would give to be able just speak to a parent.
Yeah.
Just like people get embarrassed by their parents, angry at their parents because they don't let them do something, but they're doing it for a reason. They're doing it to protect you. They're doing it to support you. They're trying to make you a better person. So I know it can be annoying sometimes to parents, but they're trying to do the best for you at all times.
Yeah, always gonna be there. Yeah. So if you have the chance, talk to your fucking parents, and if you have good friends, talk to them. You are not alone out there.
Absolutely, yeah. Exactly.
So just listen to Kieren. He has this background, and he made it. You made it, man. Yeah, I get the feeling that you are happy. You have so close to your laugh. Yeah. And you can also be honest with your like panic attacks when you are in a dark room. Yeah. But you are happy inside. I can see that.
I think me coming from not so much. Like so we had food on the table, but we never had luxury items. Yeah. For me, that's for me. Like I don't need a flashy car. I don't need a big TV. I don't need a mansion. If I got a roof over my head, food on the table, money in my pocket, I'm happy. Yeah. That's all you need. That's all you need. And they say when we talk about like you need friends around you as well. Like you say you don't choose your family, but you choose your friends.
Yeah, that's.
So they say it's important that you have the right people around you.
And that's so hard sometimes because I think we all have friends that are like negative and so lazy and just complaining about stuff. That's the friend that you're not gonna have. No, that's erased from your life.
I think
delete.
I was very lucky with my friendship circle all my life because everyone was always. It was most of my best friends are football teammates that I've played with. Yeah. And like when we was going, they would come out with me a lot as well. Fair enough, because they want to go out and have fun as well. But I had no one say who took drugs or did crime. Yeah. So because I think for me at that time in my mental state, it would have been quite easy for me to follow down that path. Yeah. But so I was very lucky to have the friends around me. Like everyone goes out and drinks and parties, of course. Yeah. But no one led me down a path I shouldn't have gone down. I can say that's the best way of putting it. I think. Yeah.
I'm so happy that you are here, Kieren, and you open up. I feel so full of life when you talk about, and this is so interesting about when you talk to people that want to open up about their story. It's so important to get it out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so important. But let's talk about. The future, Kieren.
The future, Kieren.
Yeah, what are you doing in 3 to 5 years? You said you want to be in Sweden your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is your plan here?
So 3 to 5 years. What will I be then? I'll be between 31 and 33. So I'll be coming towards the end of my football career, which is something that I'm not looking forward to.
What is your dreams?
My dreams to be happy, and I'm happy. So for me, I'm fulfilling my dreams. Yeah. My dreams was to play football at a good level. I completed that. My dream, and then if I wasn't going to be a footballer, I was going to be a teacher. I've done that. So now it's just be happy. I'm very content with life. I say I don't need much. Yeah. It doesn't take much for me to be happy now. So, but yeah, my plan. So I'll be coming towards the end of my football career. I'm gonna be coaching. I'll probably start taking my badges to become a coach and stuff like that. And so I'm thinking. I can't say this will definitely happen, but I'm thinking of going to university. To become a fully qualified teacher, because right now I just teach an assistant and substitute teacher. So the plan is if everything works out right and I'm financially stable to do it. I don't by studying I don't lose too much money. Yeah, I'll probably study to be a teacher. Yeah, as well, because in that way I can stay involved with sports as well, and also kind of be a mentor as well in the way. I got life experiences, we can say.
Yeah. Do you feel like you want to reach to those boys or girls that have it rough at home? Do you want to reach to them and said, "Come on, we can make it"? Teach them or be their mentor.
Yeah, I'm not saying I want to be just work just with that. I want to be a teacher, teach them, but I suppose with me, I want them to show that anyone can feel this way. Yeah, doesn't matter if you're poor, rich, whatever.
Sound like a life coach, maybe.
Maybe that'll be a bit later on in the career. Maybe that's me in 10 years' time. Who knows? But.
Yeah. How you feeling, Kieren?
Mate, I feel very privileged to be on the podcast.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I've only heard good things about it. Obviously, I know you very well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a privilege for me to be on here, and especially in my last few days to come and do this before I leave. So
Yeah, I'm so happy we did it.
thank you, mate. I
And I'm
appreciate
gonna
it.
miss you when you move.
I would say I'm gonna be festivalen. I'll
Festival,
be back.
it's
I
so
told you.
long time.
I know. Nah, my plan is to come up before then, but I can't say
Yeah.
when I'm gonna come up. I have to see with the job and time off and everything like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, Kieren holds a close place in my heart because a lot of things have happened while I've been in Kieren.
Yeah.
Like, so good and bad.
Yeah.
So Kieren holds a big place in my heart. So it can kind of my second home. You're gonna say now. So I'll always be back and see everyone and annoy everyone in Royale like usual, I guess.
Just hit me up. You're getting free tickets. You know that.
Thank you, my man. Appreciate that.
But I'm so happy again. I appreciate it. Like, I cannot describe how I feel right now. It's so humble to hear your story.
Thank you, man.
So, do you have anything last you want to say to the audience out there about something?
Yeah, so like if I've helped one person today,
Mm.
just one person, then that's enough for me.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to speak. Don't be embarrassed to go to the doctors. Don't be embarrassed to tell your friends and family, because if they don't want to listen, then they're not good people at the end of the day. They're not worth your time.
Yeah.
And thank you for listening to the life of KCT. That's it. Appreciate
Yeah, let's
it.
end it, bro.
Yeah, man.
See ya.
Shining brighter than the sun, I won't surrender. Watch me